Welcome to Ronin on Trail, the channel for the first responder, war veteran, and everyday hero. I finally get to show you my new home on wheels to travel Canada and the United States. So did I choose a retired ambulance, cargo van, minivan, or SUV? And what does an everyday hero look like when they take their mask off? I was once a paramedic. I now live with PTSD. I created this outdoor life channel as part of my healing journey and to give a voice to my fellow first responder, war veteran, and the everyday hero. I'm a father. I'm an introvert. I failed as an entrepreneur. I got fired as a radio broadcaster. My bloodline dates back to the samurai of the 47 Ronin, and I was a first responder for 25 years. On January 31st, 2016, my paramedic partner died by suicide. He was an avid outdoorsman, and so I began my passion of long-distance hiking and fundraising for PTSD awareness to honor his life and the lives of all fallen heroes. Today's story is about adventure, the remarkable experiences of unknown risks, and wrapped up in these three questions. Do you want to experience a life adventure on the road? What vehicle would you choose? And what vehicle did I finally choose to call my home on wheels? What does the face of an everyday hero look like when they take their mask off? I once lived 2 winters in my Ford Fusion as my home on wheels, and 2 more winters living in a tent. I never felt trapped, in danger, or ashamed that these small spaces were my realities. At that time in my life, living in a car and a tent was the best that I could do, so I could be alone and feel safe and warm without judgment. And now I need a new home on wheels to safely travel Canada and the United States. So, what do you need in order to live in a home on wheels, besides money to purchase a vehicle? What I needed most was to give myself permission to start my journey right now. Looking back, I lived in a car, a tent, climbed mountains, and hiked Canada's longest trail when I wasn't the very best version of myself. I know I should have failed for multiple reasons. And it was the smallest, simplest things that either held me back or moved me forward. And most of those things I didn't have to purchase or obtain because it resided within me. My decisions and my actions to overcome or fall to fear, complacency, and negative thoughts. It was mine to own. I was liable and coveted my own fate. I embraced irresponsibility. My excuses were not bought or obtained. They were fabricated and embellished from within. But so were courage, perseverance, and dedication. Failing in order to begin again. And after falling, to get back up and get going, one step at a time, is what got me here, right now. Most journeys, most adventures never begin. Not because of lack of money or skill or experience, but because starting right now was always put off until tomorrow. And most failed because the journey began top-heavy with too many moving parts, too many to-do lists or things to purchase. For me, if I couldn't write it down on a sticky note, it wasn't worth writing down and doing it all. It will take time to get the big pieces in place, but the small stuff is what matters most. It's the glue that usually holds the journey together, like a simple map or small compass. You'll hear the same YouTube phrase over and over from content creators, entrepreneurs, outdoor adventurers, van lifers, and overlanders. Just start now. And remember, you'll be starting right now over and over until you achieve your goal or fulfill your plan or strategy. Then you'll start right now all over again. That's what an adventure is all about. Remarkable experiences involving unknown risks. An adventure can be a singular event that begins and ends, but experiences are not singular, and they are what ties the adventure in life together, good and bad. That's the unknown risk we take when we go on these adventures. That's the amazing wonder of being human. In this story, in this adventure, we must choose what vehicle you and I would want to live in as a home on wheels right now. Since I served as a paramedic, I believed at first that I should purchase and convert a retired ambulance. But purchasing a retired ambulance in Canada without an auction vendor's license is expensive, and the rust factor from Canadian winters of road salt, slush, and snow, and the cost to refurbish an ambulance was simply out of my price range. Maybe down the road, there's one sitting and waiting for me in the dry, arid desert in Arizona, where a fellow paramedic or EMT will point the way, but that's for another story. So my quest to live nomadically shifted from living in a retired ambulance to a cargo van like Chrome's from Vancity Vanlife, then a minivan like YouTube outdoor adventure celebrity Foresty Forest, and finally an SUV similar to the up-and-coming YouTube creator Nathaniel Wise, who lives in a Toyota Sequoia. But why? Why go from a vehicle like an ambulance that you can stand up in to an SUV that is basically a 7-foot by 4-foot walk-in closet, minus the headroom? I chose an SUV because it fulfilled the 5 following priorities. It had to be safe in 4 seasons, with 4-wheel drive off-trail capability. It had to have a reliable road record with a strong engine and no rust. Urban stealth. Looks like an SUV, not an RV. I can park it in public areas, driveways, and off-trail. It's cheap to convert. All I need to start is a bed. I also chose an SUV based on past experiences and observations. I saw firsthand as a paramedic and from personal experience what a deer and big game can inflict to a car at highway speed. So car life was the first to be eliminated. And I watched too many YouTube videos of vans rusting out and breaking down on the road. And I knew I couldn't navigate a minivan off-trail as expertly as Foresty Forest. He even got stuck on one of his Alaska adventures. I also drove SUVs as an emergency response vehicle when I served as a paramedic. I know from past experience how safe and durable SUVs are. I was involved in an accident while responding to an emergency call when an inattentive driver cut me off as he drove through a red light. I avoided hitting him, but I slammed my SUV into a metal telephone pole at a high rate of speed, and I only suffered a mild concussion, minor cuts, and bruises. this is why I chose a 2014 Toyota 4Runner. And for those interested, I'll also be covering living in a tent, small home, and car dwelling in upcoming Ronin on Trail YouTube video posts. Choosing to live in a vehicle as your home on wheels is a personal and subjective decision that must fit into your lifestyle, your budget, your goals, and your dreams. Deciding to live in a van, SUV, car, or truck only has to resonate with you. Ronin on Trail is a channel that shares stories of authenticity, courage, and humility. The grassroots beauty, freedom, and solitary uniqueness of living on the road only has to make sense to you. I look forward to hearing from those of you who live in a vehicle as a home on wheels. So if you do leave a comment or message, please be respectful and non-judgmental. I can't recognize all the subscribers who left messages on my channel comments, but today I want to acknowledge some of you who made my life that much brighter and stronger. I want to give a thank you shout out to nursing assistant Dan P. of Wisconsin, United States. Thank you to Kyle R., who serves in the Canadian Armed Forces in Ottawa. His sister is also a paramedic, and his brother-in-law is a firefighter. So when I venture up to Ottawa, coffees are on me. And I want to give a shout-out thank you to war veteran engineer Robert H. And I'm going to read this so I get this correctly. He's from Alpha Company, 39th Brigade Engineer Battalion, 101st Airborne Division, and a PTSD warrior. A Ronin on Trail subscriber asked me what an everyday hero looks like when they take their mask off. To me, a hero resides within the heart of adventure, garners strength from the experiences of risk, and succeeds from the wisdoms of abundant failures. I wrote some things down of what I thought the face of an everyday hero looks like. And a lot of this has come from the messages and comments from my subscribers. So what does the face of an everyday hero look like when the mask is removed? You are a single parent. You just lost a loved one, lost your job, lost your business, you're unemployed or homeless. You're trying to find a vehicle to live in to call your home, but you don't have the means or the funds to make this happen. And still, you carry forward. You are an everyday hero, fighting for your own safety and freedom, and the safety and freedom of your children from domestic violence. You are an everyday hero fighting the heartbreak of abandonment. You fight against depression, anger, guilt, and shame. You battle each waking moment against suicidal thoughts. You are an everyday hero fighting for your life against cancer or a debilitating disease. You struggle with addiction, or you live with an affliction that completely overwhelms you. You know what the face of perseverance, hope, and human goodness looks like. because you have seen the inner mask of your own personal hell. And when the mask falls away and we see the face of the everyday hero, we have always known in our hearts it was you. I hope today's story brought some goodness into your life. And until we meet on trail again, I'd like to leave you with this. One of the greatest gifts that exists but can never be possessed is the gift of time. Give time to a stranger long enough to call them friend. In upcoming videos, I'll be boondocking in areas around Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, SUV camping with simply an air mattress and camping gear that I have, just to show my subscribers and those interested in overlanding and SUV life that it is possible to survive Canadian winters. Mind you, I don't recommend sleeping in -30, -40, which is basically 0 Fahrenheit.